I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. I was trying to be funny. I don't interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Okay, my bad. But yeah, Mr. Rolla was being, bothering me on Twitter. I'm not sure why, because I call myself a black conservative, but he kind of equate that with Republican and white people and all that stuff, but that's not necessarily the case. But he started bothering me on Twitter.
Him? Oh, hell.
Say it again?
He's synonymous with white folks. I keep thinking of him as a little pug dog with a collar and a leash around his ass, being walked full to heel. Which I brought back.
Go
yes,
on and
sir.
shout out
Yep,
your Twitter as you explain how he approached you. So make sure you get that because we want to make sure our listeners can support you as well. So.
Absolutely. Well, my Twitter is at New Emerging King. But Mr. Roland was actually tagging me in a few posts on Twitter, kind of bothering me and, attacking me about he was trying to call me Republican, and he called me an idiot in one of my posts saying that we black people should try to do stuff for our own community instead of, asking the government and stuff. So he called me an idiot. So he'd been bothering me for a while, and he finally was like, well, y'all come on the show then. And, y'all talk about voter suppression or whatever. And I kept telling him in the tweet, I'm like, that's not my fight. I'm like, I fight and I work with children. I try to fight for young black men before they die. That's my biggest concern. So he called me on the show and he tried to talk about voter suppression. I kept explaining to him that that is not my fight. That is his fight, and I work with children. So he asked me what my fight was and what did I mean by doing for self. And I simply explained what I was doing and how I'm able to do for self. And he kept trying to tell me how we're not able to do for self when I'm sitting there telling him we just did it. Me and some teenagers just went and showed you we could do for self, But he kept trying to argue with me. He never would say good job, never would, at least say, that's cool or something, for helping the black community. He wanted to fight the whole time. And, I kept it respectful. I didn't call him any names. And I, remained respectful the entire interview because I knew that him doing that was only going to make him look bad. And he brought me a lot of fans, from him not acknowledging the work that we're doing and him trying to bully me on the show. And I kind of just let it happen. And I told my piece and I kept moving. So, after that, I didn't really feel any type of way because I've dealt with this ever since I started my program. People are always like, how are you, going to be 19 and you're going to teach somebody how to be a man, you're not even grown and stuff like that. And I'm just like, how are you going to tell me about helping these kids when what we're doing is working and you're not doing anything? So I don't really, I don't care how old they are. If you're older, younger, if you're not doing what I'm doing, when Roland Martin go open the school, then I'll have a back and forth with him. But until then, he can just keep on talking and keep on saying what he has to say. But that's his job, to talk, get people riled up and keep getting them to send him cash outs. Just like I just posted earlier, I don't get into mudslinging. I don't get into clearing anything up. I'm just simply trying to work with the children in my program. And I'm grown. Yeah. I don't have time for no childish games, and I'm definitely not getting into it with any commentators that all they do is comment. I don't make comments. I do work. So I don't have time, for that childishness. He can post whatever he like. I understand he's under a lot of scrutiny right now because of what he did, but that's his own fault. I didn't do nothing. I didn't push it. I have never called him any names, never tried to, make it all, about me or anything. Everybody else did that. Everybody else agreed with what I said, so he just did that to himself.
Roland likes a stiff one stuck up his rear end so far.
They did it for,
young man, I need a good fight. My Twitter handle is at JUDGEJOEBROWN TV. Next time he tries to attack you, highlight me, and I'll see if I can't jump in on the case. All right? I feel
yes,
like
sir.
By the way, anybody ever heard this saying called, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
it's on my vision board.
Yeah.
What kind of solutions has Roland Martin provided for black folks?
All right, guys, so I'm going to stop the audio right there, and please don't ask me if Judge meant what he said, because normally he does. He says what he means what he says, so I don't know if he's challenging Roland. I guess you'll just have to ask him on Fridays. We're live on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Judge Joe Brown Show, live every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All the details are down below in the description box and also on the website. So go to the website, thejudgejoebrownshow.com for details, all right? I missed you guys. Oh, my goodness, I missed you guys so much. But you know, I'm a one-woman show, and I thank you for all those of you who bless me via Cash App, PayPal, you know, the Patreon. You know, I've been busting my ass on Patreon. Patreon.com/Valerie Denise Jones, Patreon.com/Valerie Denise Jones, Cash App, $Valerie Denise, Cash App, $Valerie Denise, and PayPal is at Valerie Denise. Guys, please, please, please don't stop supporting Black media. We give our blood, sweat, and tears to Black media. We need you because this is about us. This is about our family. So whether we're risking it all, saying it all, putting it all out on the table, like it or not, we do this for you, and we go so hard. So please support that. And while you're in a good giving mood, why don't you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also sign up for the alerts. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, and join us down in the comment section. Guys, you know I read my comments. So please, 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 express yourself, all right? But don't forget to join us on the various platforms and our social media. I am at Valerie Denise Jones on Instagram. That's where I am at. I don't update it as often because I told you I do graphics, websites, and all that other stuff for other people. I produce other shows. I'm looking for more advertisements and all of that. So, guys, if you know people who want to advertise, I am soon, hopefully, going to video very soon. And also, if you know anybody who's got, they would make a good guest, they've got some information that they want to put out, something, you know, if they have a viral story and they just, you know, need a platform, please hit me up. Hit me up because I want to expand this. I want to get back on YouTube and, yeah, just get reconnected with you because I miss you so much. I can't say that enough. But this next audio, guys, it's a special one to me, near and dear to my heart, because the two people featured in this are the two guys featured in this next part. They are very articulate, very accomplished men, very intelligent, meant no harm, but they just had a difference of opinion. And I want to know if you got anything out of this next audio clip, if it meant anything to you, if you learned anything, what did you think of what they said? Meet me down in the comment section and let's talk. All right, so I've talked enough. I've taken up enough of your time. I am Valerie Denise Jones. Please, 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 again, support me, support Judge, support us as we do our thing. All right, let's get started. Here we go.
Or, you know, a college degree. Do y'all think that play a role in it too? Lack of economic resources and programs in the community?
No. I don't see that playing a role because I'll give you a prime example right here in the city of Shreveport, which we're in the top 10 murder rates in the United States per capita. And you have a lot of these young melanated males murdering each other, but simultaneously, where they've either dropped out of school or they're still in school, one of the best programs in the United States is housed right here in the city of Shreveport, and that's Job Corps. You can go, an individual can go to Job Corps from the age of 16 to the age of 24, get multiple trades, go to college for free, they house you for free, they feed you, they give you a stipend. That program is available. And guess what? Individuals who go into the program drop out the program because they do not desire to be committed to that life because they lack, again, spirituality and right coaching, and they lack, as a byproduct of that, an ethical and moral compass. And part of that goes to what Warren just said. When you're not trained by a man or a woman, you don't have a physical reality, a prototype of what to look at. So there's an abundance of services out here. At some point in time, we're gonna have to get to a point to understand if you are serious about trying to do something for yourself, you're going to have to get off your ass and make some things happen. That's just the bottom line. Because simultaneously, this same individual, if you told him that he was not a man, he'll want to bust a cap in your ass. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say that you are a man, but resources are around you and you don't want to take advantage of them, and then we want to keep on saying, let's do this program, let's do that program, let's brush their teeth for them, let's comb their hair for them. At some point, you're going to have to get off your ass and make some things happen, and that's just the bottom line, man.
Well, it's also in the thought process. You know, as we were talking yesterday on the show, and I talked about natural law. The first law of nature is the law of mentalism. And so it's almost like, you know, like Scripture says in the Bible, I don't mean to preach, but I'm bringing it home. So a man thinketh, so it is with him. So I don't care what opportunity. It depends on how this person sees things. You have people running around in 2021. If it was 1951, I could maybe understand that. But you have people in 2021 believe they can't get ahead because of the white man. They believe they can't get ahead because of racism, white supremacy, and all these things, to me, which is foolishness. And I talked about it again the other day, as I said, we can all go into, all of us that's on this line, if we walked into a movie theater and we sit down in a movie and we all watched the same movie, we all saw the same thing. And if we come out of that movie and somebody interviewed us and asked us about that movie, each one of us would have something different to say, because it is the perception in which you perceive something that you begin to speak. So that's why there's a serious situation in the black community, because in 2021, and nobody's taking anything away from our people that we've struggled and we went through hell in this country. Nobody's taking it away from us. But in 2021, if you're telling me you can't get ahead because of the white man, your thinking and your perception has been messed up. And this is one of the things that I hated about so many of these black messiahs that come and lecture the country, and they come around the country and they stir everybody up with their foolishness. They don't leave a resolve. They only stir foolishness up. They get paid, and they go on to the next town. And so when you have this, you're stirring up emotions. You're stirring up a bunch of emotions. If I already feel less than, I feel like there's no way out, you know. Now, as they always say, hindsight is 20/20. Now, I'm pretty sure this young man sit back and thought after he'd done his deed, he wished he wouldn't have done it, because it really wasn't worth it. For whatever reason, whether he felt disrespected, whether he needed that money to pay off something, or whatever reason that he made this decision, I'm pretty sure he sit back now and realized it wasn't worth what he did. And so that's the problem, even with us as we do cross over. Some of us cross over, and we figure out we become economically and financially successful. And that was the issue that shared, that you even witnessed here in Houston with me with the People's Law Study Group, is that, I don't know. Sometimes I just wonder about us as a whole, because people, my concept of that was to give people to shed light on the judicial system and say, hey, it's not racism that's the reason why we're 80 or 90% incarcerated or population in prison. It's illiteracy and ignorancy of the legal system. And so this is the same thing about life. If we're operating half-baked, if we're operating from emotions, and the fourth law of nature is the law of opposites, which deals with everything has an opposite. So the opposite of emotions is intellect or your logic. But these things have to be balanced. You cannot be extreme. Extremism causes problem, whether you're extremely emotional or extremely logical. You have to be balanced, and that's the problem.
Warren, surely, and I'm going to give you a chance to probably think about what you just said. Surely you're not saying that white supremacy and racism do not exist and are not real factors in the progress of the masses of African-American people in this country. Surely you're not saying that, correct?
Well, what I
want you to think about it.
I can answer that easily. I don't have to think no longer. As I said earlier, I would not deny that black folks have not suffered in this country. We've suffered some horrific things. Do racism exist? Of course. Excuse me?
You said that past tense.
Well, racism still
exists. You said have not suffered. You said that past tense.
Yes. racism still exists. But for me to think in 2021 that these things will hold me back, because, again, the law of mentalism, whatsoever man thinketh, so it is with him. So if I give energy to that in 2021, then, of course, for me, it's holding me back. For me, racism, white, but I don't believe in that in 2021. No, I don't believe in that in this day and age.
So let me ask you this question. So I was just on a panel discussion at the Black Store in Houston, where we had one of you all's city council persons at large and a state representative in Houston on the panel discussion, and the contract procurement percentage for qualified African American businesses in the city of Houston with the city of Houston is 0.5%. A disparity study was done, and it concluded that is the percentage that African American businesses get. So are you telling me that 0.5% is all because qualified black businesses who have been trying to get contracts with the city of Houston, they're lazy, they're shiftless, they don't try to apply to get those contracts? Are you sitting up telling me that?
No, I didn't tell you anything. I didn't tell you anything about anybody's lazy or shiftless. Those are your words. But there are other factors. I don't know what all the factors are. Do we have enough?
There are no other factors.
Okay. Brother Craig.
The disparity study, brother, listen to me. The disparity study was conducted. I do this for real. I'm a graduate of Xavier University, 1989, marketing economics. For any brother or sister, I don't give a damn what your occupation is, for you to sit on this phone and say that racism is not a factor of a legitimate factor in 2021, when the civil rights legislation was just passed in 1964, the voting rights legislation was just passed in 1965, and housing rights legislation was just passed in 1968. And if you go back to 1865, the 13th Amendment was just passed in 1865 after over 200 plus years of chattel slavery. So for any brother or sister, just because they may be making a couple of nickels and a dime above $1, to believe that white supremacy and racism is not reality, that is a false narrative. And I dare not allow you or any other person to spread that lie, because that is a bold-faced
Brother
lie.
Craig, wait a minute, brother. You can speak for you. You can't stop me from saying or doing whatever I want to say or do. The reason, again, we were. You go back to Black Wall Street, which was somewhere between 40 to 50 years out of slavery. We're talking about people that just learned how to read and write, who had a whole community, who had doctors, lawyers, millions. See, that's why I don't buy that crap. Right now in 2021, we don't even have the stipulations that they had back then. This is stuff that's going on between black folks that black folks need to solve within themselves. I don't buy it, and there's no way nobody can make me buy it, and I'm going to spread it.
So let me break this down, because see, you're just talking right now. Coming out of chattel slavery, there were over 200 black townships created by the ingenuity that you're talking about. That did exist. Land grant institutions came up. That did exist. But what you're not understanding, see, and this is the sad part about our people, you talk in a one-dimensional mindset, and this world is not one-dimensional. You can still have white supremacy and racism and still have some positive success stories. We live in a multidimensional reality. So did our people, and my uncle, just so you know this, is one of those people who created over one of the 200 black townships in the United States. His name was Giles V. Moore. He created one of the townships on the outskirts of Shreveport called Moore's Town. Okay? So I'm a part of that legacy. But I dare not sit up just because my uncle did this great thing and I piggyback off of our great ancestor, C.C. Antoine, who wrote the charter legislation for the city of Shreveport in 1871. I dare not sit up and say just because they did some exceptional things that white supremacy and racism does not exist, because they continue to fight against white supremacy and racism. It's not an either-or deal. You have to battle white supremacy, racism, while continuing to forge ahead. Your premise is that if you now speak about white supremacy, racism, you're now some kind of way not willing to continue to forge ahead. And that's just not the case. This is a multidimensional reality. Now, I will agree with you that some of these sellout Negro savages use that as a crutch, and they have not even attempted to fight. That is absolutely true. But simultaneously, there are brothers and sisters who get their paperwork together, who got their insurances, who are making things happen, and they still, because of white supremacy, racism, nepotism, and cronyism, cannot plug into the systems that they are paying into throughout this country.
Well, brother, that's your perception. My perception is totally different. And, you know, if I never once said racism did not exist. I didn't say that. I said if it is a factor to you that you cannot get ahead because of it, then you have the problem.
Oh, my goodness. You just said it. Brother, you're talking double talk. You're talking double talk.
No. I'm not talking double talk at all. I made myself clear from the beginning. I don't take nobody's experiences away from them. I talked from the beginning. I talked about perception. It's how a person perceives a thing. I already broke that down. And if you can take a people who were 50 years removed from slavery and they'd accomplished what they accomplished, if you look at every major city in the United States, every major city, especially democratic cities, such as Chicago, who's predominantly black. Okay, what's their excuse? Look at Detroit, predominantly black. I guess
Chicago is not predominantly black. Chicago is not predominantly black.
The inner city. The areas
Chicago
where we have issues, the
inner city of
where
Chicago
we're having the issues, the area where we have the issues of the black community. Black. Okay, you made your point.
Okay,
now I'm making mine. So I don't buy that crap. And all these people, especially sitting in Houston, all these black folks sitting in mail and Boston, you trying to tell me that the only problem is they can't get it just because of racism? There are other factors to that, whatever they are. There are other factors to that need to be looked at and examined.
I'm going to say this, and I'm very clear, because now the brother is trying to adjust his position. The reality, I say it again, we live in a multidimensional reality.
Brother, why is it that you keep trying to change it? Ain't nobody trying to adjust nothing. I was clear from day one.
No, you weren't.
I was clear from day one. What I said from the beginning was that we have suffered, and I said racism still exists. But for you to tell me that the only reason you can't get ahead in 2021 is because of racism, something is wrong. Where have I adjusted anything that I said?
You didn't hear that come out of my mouth, but I'm telling you, as it relates to what you initially said, and they can play it back, you did not initially say that. The whole point is we live in a multidimensional reality. You took a one-dimensional approach to it. I take a two-dimensional approach to it, a multidimensional approach to it, because, yes, you have to be accountable and responsible. But what I told you, simultaneously, white supremacy and racism still exist. And for somebody to tell me that they head up a legal program and would sit on a phone and that, or on a podcast or any other podcast or a radio show, and you cannot articulate the fact that legal precedent is established by the fabric of the United States Constitution that articulates that we are 3/5 of a person. And you can come to the Dred Scott decision, where the Supreme Court of the United States of America articulates that no black person, no African person of African descent would ever be viewed as a citizen in this country. That is a reality. And that is written into the fabric of this country.
I know y'all didn't hear me talk about the Dred Scott thing, right? Y'all heard me talk about the Dred Scott thing. Y'all heard me talk about this. This is the type of stuff that I used to regret.
A legal people's firm makes no sense.
Brother, you can try. See, this is a democratic move
We're said now, Warren. You said you talked about the dress skirt. Finish your tell him about it. You said I don't know if he heard. You talking about us. I don't know. If I
didn't already deal with that dress skirt issue, and I'll get back to that. But what I don't like, I don't mind debate. Okay, I don't even mind being wrong. I can accept being wrong because that's how iron sharpens iron. Anybody I talk to, we can learn from each other. But when I get with somebody who's constantly trying to throw, trying to destroy my character, I don't have time for that type of conversation.
You destroyed your own character. You destroyed your own.
No, you don't want to. Anybody do this? Anybody, man, bro, you ain't the one to be talking.
You destroyed your own character.
If you disagree, and you want to make your point, make your point. But all this
you destroyed your own character.
That's childish to me, brother. That's very childish.
You destroyed your own character with the foolish statement that you made.
I haven't destroyed
you destroyed your own character.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you brought that up. You destroyed your own character.
No, you the one keep anybody they got a lost footer, they this and that, brother. That ain't even the conversation. Make your point. See, this is what I'm talking about. Men acting like women with them emotions.
You didn't know what you were talking about. I made my point.
I know exactly what I'm talking about. That's the point you're trying to make. You're trying to make it seem like I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, that was just very clear. Any person who, again, represents a so-called law program that would make a foolish statement like you made does not know what he's talking about, because you represented it from a one-dimensional standpoint. And when I brought up the fact that we live in a multi-dimensional reality, you tried to adjust your statement. And Val can play the tape back for you because it's obviously that you're slow on learning, because that's exactly what was stated. Because you tried to now say that white supremacy racism is basically a illusion in 2021, and that is foolishness.
That is exactly what I said, and I said again, it is an illusion in 2021.
Okay, then. So what did I get wrong? What did I get wrong? I didn't get anything wrong. You destroyed your own.
What do you mean? What you get wrong?
Because
I know
the question
exactly
I'm
what I said. I haven't adjusted anything, and I haven't changed anything. But I'm tired of going back and forth with you over whether I adjusted or what. I know exactly what I said.
So when did white supremacy
and anybody talking about the Dred Scott stuff, you even brought up some stuff. We ain't even talking about the Dred, but you don't even understand the whole concept of the Dred Scott case. You don't, because you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness! Please enlighten me. Please enlighten me. Please enlighten me. Because for any person of African descent to sit on any program and say that white supremacy and racism is still not an issue in the 21st century, they are a fool. Because the question then becomes, where did white supremacy and racism go? Where did it evaporate to? Where did it go?
What is white supremacy? Bro, what is white supremacy?
White supremacy is a philosophy of Europeans who believe they have the complete dynamic of control of everything in this entire universe. It then spins into
it seems like you bought into it more than they did.
No, Craig ain't bought into anything, but I can call it out.
You're talking about it?
See, I don't have
You're talking about it, so you must have bought into it. You feel
so let me get it straight. So let me get it straight. So if you talk about an issue, that means that you have bought into the issue. Is that the foolishness that you're saying?
No, it's how you talk about the issue. It's you listen to how somebody talks. So you feel less than? You feel less than?
Let me see. Let me make sure I get this right. So if I talk about it in a certain way, I feel less than, even though, see, what you don't understand about me, dude, I'm a business owner. I'm a graduate of Xavier University. I've been in corporate America. So I deal with people like you all the time who talk this foolishness and you don't know what you're talking about. So again, for any fool, any Negro,
man, get this fool off the line. Get this fool off the line. Because that's what he wants to do. All he wants to do is insult. He don't want to talk. He don't want to talk facts. All he want to do is sit up and insult. Then you ain't nobody I need to talk to. It's all right to disagree, but if that's all you can do is any fool, any this, any that, any this, any that. Bro, you ain't nobody I need to talk to, bro. You ain't talking nothing. All you sit up here doing is trying to insult and make yourself look good. You don't look good.
No, it's not looking good. It's just setting the record straight. It's setting the record straight
because you ain't talking about nothing.
I hear you. But at the end of the day, for any African descendant to sit on any program and say that white supremacy and racism does not exist in the 21st century, you are a damn fool. You are a damn fool. And you can take however you want.
You keep changing. You keep trying to change my words. I told you from the beginning, and I'm not going to say this no more because this don't even make sense for me to keep going back over and over what I said. I already know what I said. I said from the beginning that black folks have suffered atrocities in this country. I said racism still exists. But in the mind of a black man, if you think that racism is holding you back in 2021, something is wrong with you. That's what I said. I'm not backing down off of it.
Next question, Sharon.
Valerie, can you hear me?
I hope you're enjoying this big exclusive via the Judge Joe Brown Show. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Now, back to the show.
This show is sponsored by the Hurricane Reports, merchandise, and more.